So we're officially live on the platform Global Affairs Network. As you
Awesome.
know, Global Affairs Network deal with three different parts. You have a politics, education, and business. So today, Miss Miller is gonna talk to us about the millennium involvement in this fight against racism and police brutality and all of that. So we're gonna play. We I'm gonna play a video that really catch my attention. When I saw it, I was very emotional, and so I couldn't just stay there without talking to you. I have to call you and trying to tell us what was going on in your mind when you make that video, and also pretty much give you a point of view on this. And the rumor is that the singer was you. But I'm not pretty sure. I'm not pretty sure. You got to tell. I'm gonna be receiving this information in front of everybody else. I heard the rumor that you were the singer, and that is gonna be pretty awesome. And so I'm discovering somebody new. Like I know you, but not as a singer. Well,
Right.
if anybody didn't tell me that that voice was your voice, I denied like many times, and I said, you know what? Let me call, Miss Palm herself, and she will come and let us know if this is her voice and why she did this. Let me try to play this real quick, and then we can go. You will have a chance to. First of all, you know what? Let's just start with the introduction. Why don't you tell us who you are? Who are you? What do you do?
Well, hi, my name is Mila Palm. I live in the Maryland area. I am a realtor actually in DC and Maryland. And when Malik extended out the invite to come on the show and talk about my perspective to share with everyone, I just couldn't say no. So I'm so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Excellent. Very good. Very nice. So let share this video real quick and just to give people, our audience here, a chance to see and to hear what I heard. So and after that we can continue our conversation.
Okay.
All right. So 1 minute. We know we're live, and for the most part, stuff can go soft.
It
So,
happens.
so bear
Technology.
with me here.
Technology tends to do that.
yeah, yeah. I'm not on that level of technology yet, but
Yeah, we have so
I,
much faith in it. It does make life
yeah,
easier, though.
yeah. So just bear with me. I find the video.
Sure, take your time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see here. Hope it didn't lose
I
it.
can I can talk a little bit. Okay, never mind.
No, we're good. We're good. Okay, so let us enjoy this video, and after that we can come back with Miss Palm, Mila, and discuss more about this.
Of course.
Wonderful, excellent.
Thank you.
So you heard it. Listen, I still have goosebumps on my. Uh, sorry. Yeah. So now you have a chance to just tell me straight up. Look at me and tell me that was actually you.
So yes, surprise, surprise, it was me.
Surprise, surprise. My
But I'm going
goodness.
to give you a brief background about it. So I happened to a couple weeks ago, I had a photographer reach out to me about actually taking pictures of me, and I followed him on Instagram, and I stumbled upon these beautiful candid photos, and I just got so passionate about the movement, you know, George Floyd's death and everything that has transpired within the past month. And the first thing I thought about is, wow, history is repeating itself. I mean, we were in the civil rights movement, pushing for equal rights, certain justices to be served. And it just, I felt like I was transported back to that time. I mean, although I wasn't raised in that time, but it just made me think, wow, history really just repeats.
Absolutely.
So I remember growing up on this song. My dad loves old school songs. And the first thing I thought about was Sam Cooke, Change is Gonna Come. It was released in 1965, smack dab in the middle of, guess what? The civil rights movement. So I kind of wanted to correlate that and bring it to what we're going through today because we're still fighting kind of for the same thing.
Pretty much.
So it's just when you listen to that song, it evokes so much emotion.
Yeah.
And I wanted to portray the hurt and the pain and the fact that the community is tired. At this point, we're just tired. And we want to see a change. I mean, the people that came before us, they've been fighting and it's been a continual fight. And we just want it to be over.
Absolutely. Listen, nobody could actually translate the pain, the outrage.
Right.
You know, I went to many protests last week many times, but there was no moment where I feel like, hey, listen, I've been touched and deep down to my heart and emotionally.
Right.
You go to the protest, you're mad, you're angry, you want to do
Right.
something, but the very first time I heard that, the video that you put together, I was like, okay, well, good job. And I was on your page actually. I said, good job. That's pretty good. The young people are getting involved. That's good stuff. But it was actually when I reached out to your mother and I said, you know what, that was a pretty cool video that Mila just put together. She said, guess what? I said, what? She said that was actually her singing. I went blank. I said, no way. So you are telling me that you've been living with some daughter in the house years, not knowing, or you didn't tell me? So I'm pretty
It
proud
was
of
a
you.
surprise for her too,
Yeah.
actually.
Wow. No, that's what she told me. She said, hey, listen, before you blame me, let me let you know that I didn't even know myself. So yeah, it's a very wonderful surprise that this kind of stuff happening at this moment. You using your inspiration, using your voice, just to to bring a stone to this fight, and
It doesn't stop here.
yeah, absolutely. Like to
Because
just
I'm
remind you that whatever you do as a young lady here is not been taken for granted. And one of my question would be that why do you think the millennium, the young people right now are more involved? We see them almost everywhere, from Minneapolis to Accra, Ghana, to Switzerland or Paris. If whenever you whatever you look at, you see a lot of young people getting involved in this. Why do you think we have this energized, the young people galvanized all around the world?
Well, it's interesting because I'm going to revert back to a quote that Will Smith said. And he said, racism has always existed. It's just now that we have camera phones.
Absolutely.
And it's been a continuous thing. You know, these videos would drop and we would see the gruesome shootings, and I mean, people call it modern day lynchings of Black men, Black women even, and we tend to forget them. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, the list goes on. I think that the slaying of, I mean, we already saw Ahmaud Arbery, and that hurt enough, right? But when we saw George Floyd, to actually see every moment of it, you know, to see that man's life slip away and to see the hate in that cop's eyes, that was something you couldn't ignore. I think that released something in everybody. And it's great how everybody was able to unite in solidarity over it. And I think, honestly, I think the world stopped.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And I think there's a sense of shock that came into play, seeing that play out.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? While we're doing all of this, while you see some kind of unity of Black, white, Latino, all races all together to trying to find against this pandemic of mass Black killings.
Because it's in their face. I think it's finally in their face. And the reason
it is so appalling to at the same time to see that we still have some people who still believe that it's not the right fight. I've seen, you probably also saw some video about Candace, the Republican Black ladies, a young lady. I usually don't give too much credit to watch whatever she said.
right.
You can tell she is looking for a bigger audience and to try to have an impact or voice being heard in the mainstream media. What do you think about Candace's comments? She literally said that she cannot give credit, or she do not want to acknowledge the fact that people are protesting for George Floyd. What are your sentiments when you hear that kind of stuff?
To be honest with you, it was very hurtful to hear, because I don't think that your past should be a death sentence. Even if he, even his rap sheet was extensive, I don't think that plays a part in a cop deciding to play God and take someone's life away. A thing that was also upsetting is that she disregarded the notion of police brutality. When, if anybody actually knows the history of policing, it definitely has racial roots to it. I mean, so
Absolutely.
State patrol, that was something that was left alone when the Civil War came. Then you had Black codes, which is codes where they were restricting Blacks to stay confined within certain regions, and laws that were made to keep Blacks from enjoying the same opportunities whites were able to. And then once that was elected out in 1868 by the 14th Amendment, 2 decades after, you had Jim Crow laws. So what I'm saying is you just had all these laws transform. It's not like anything really changed. Everything just transformed. And once we had the civil rights movement, yeah, you might not have had lynchings. You may have had maybe progression a little bit with the laws, the extermination of Jim Crow laws, but policing didn't really change. Adequate training wasn't questioned, nothing. So it runs deep. And for her to totally just say, no, there's no such thing as police brutality. Rodney King, we saw all that. We all saw that video, March 1991, how he was beat down like a dog, and how in 1992 the cops were acquitted. I mean, if these cops aren't reprimanded, wouldn't you? Well, they start to develop a sense of they are above the law. So if you feel like there are no repercussions, and you can just do as you please, things will get out of hand. And then you combine that with inadequate training and targeting these Black communities.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Shocking that she
You,
would do
you
that,
yeah,
because we're trying to be progressive. And sometimes
absolutely.
knocking us backwards. And, the opposing party wants to hear a different story. Of
Yeah.
course, they want to.
But do you think this is actually beyond party lines, the party politics? I'm a politician myself,
Right.
Democrats, and
Oh, that too.
yeah, so we when I was running in 2018, part of my program, my plan was to fight against to change this justice system. We have the school to prison pipeline. We have unjust the arrest of Black people. More than 1 million of Black folks in jail for sometimes for no reason. We've seen people
Right.
dying,
Like the Central Park Five, remember that?
yeah,
5 of the
absolutely.
guys got
Yeah,
wrongly accused, and then years pass, and oops, sorry. I mean, how is that
yeah.
fair?
So for Candace to make that comment, I thought that was very ignorant of her. And even you as a young lady, you have an clear understanding of the history, and you also understand that we are not fighting right now just for George Floyd. We
Right.
are fighting for the entire experience of Black people in this country.
Right.
So for her to just come and say, you know what, she don't,
Minimize the movement, and I think
yeah,
that we're trying to progress. And it's like you saw Ahmaud Arbery, and the reason why I discredit her is because she had so much to say about Ahmaud Arbery's passing, only to find out today. What did we find out after he was executed? They happened to drop profanity, of course, along
yeah,
with a racial slur. So now
yeah,
we know, what is that? It's racially motivated.
yeah.
So I mean, I
It's but since we're in a democratic country, everybody have the right to speak. I
right,
just think this is not the right time for especially for a Black woman to come forward and trying to block that progress, especially when you know that even people who are American, you saw European, you see the British citizens going in front of the parliament demanding that even the president resign. That it tells you something about what this moment really means for all of us. So what we have to do is actually disregard people like Candice
we
and
have to.
not allow voices like that, negative voices like that, to distract our movement. And for you young ladies that continue to do a fantastic, great job, regardless your activities, you're probably involved with schooling, but still take some time to put together a video and even to sing for it. So
Well, well, to even add on to that point, I appreciate that. But to even add on to that point, I'm actually taking the video further. I'm going to make a project out of it. So I'm going to actually record the entire song, and I'm going to make a legit video. I actually hooked up with a video producer, and I'm thinking about actually making a real video, promoting it on YouTube and passing it around, because I really stand for this. And I feel like if you you have to stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
absolutely.
So
Excellent.
I sincerely
Listen, what I can tell you from my own perspective is that I'm proud of you, and you have to continue working hard and pushing this agenda forward, because Black humanity is human humanity, and the changes that have been done in the history of America started with people of your age. Martin Luther King started in the movement. He was in his 20s. Malcolm X, all of these leaders, Angela Davis, all of
right.
the leaders, they started in this fight that pretty much continue to this day. They were young. So your involvement as young people is very important. So one of the question I wanted to tell you is that, since young people, a lot of them going to be watching this interview, this podcast, what can you tell them? Because I know most people nowadays, what they do is that they understand the fight. They know they need to do something, but they don't know how to do it. So your example is pretty clear. You don't have to be on the street. You can still do something and have an impact in this fight. So I'm gonna let you, speak a little bit on it. What can people do, especially people of your generation?
And I totally agree with that. I was a little hesitant about going out in the streets. So I was like, hey, I have a skill, I have a voice I could share with the world. And I collaborated, like I said, with a local photographer and included his photos in it. So, in a sense, that's his way of protesting. I think that if you just contribute any kind of art, let's say you're an artist, you want to do a painting, just portraying the pain or the support of the movement. That would also be a thing. Somebody on my Instagram happened to do makeup. She's into makeup, and she had a really lovely eyeshadow done, and then she painted on or with makeup, made a mask that said, "I can't breathe."
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You can write poetry. I happen to like writing poetry. You could write stories, just anything to pass that message along. Because I think that we all vote. How about that? That's actually one that is a big deal. Voting is an integral part of this. I made sure I called my friends. I was like, hey, we need to get out there on Blackout Tuesday because I participated in that. I said, let's not stay quiet about voting. I get it. We won't post, but let's at least make sure we stand in solidarity and go out there and vote. Because one thing I realized is a lot of Black people tend to not vote. For some reason, they got to their mind that our vote doesn't count. But if we don't vote for, there's a whole thing of checks with checks and balances. It's not just the executive branch or the president that contributes to the laws, but we have to vote in legislation. So we have to vote.
Absolutely. And that's pretty interesting. In end, I think what people want is yeah, of course, marching and protesting is the best way to put a spotlight on the issues. But the bigger fish to fry is always changing our laws, lawmakers. How we put it in office. Those are actually people who actually make the huge difference. So we can protest all day. In the end, we have to stand up and vote. Want some of this stuff change because a lot of us don't even understand how the legal framework actually operates.
Right.
Right
and
now.
I understand that. We're like, oh, shoot. Well, we don't vote.
Yeah.
Well, if we participate in that, then maybe we can
Absolutely.
get some of those conservative individuals that are in there who have been in there for quite some time and
Absolutely.
revamp it with more progressive minds. And that's how we get to a more progressive place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can agree more.
I think that also another thing that we need to do, I don't know if that falls under protesting, but I think another important part is making sure within our communities we support each other and we push education more. I feel like it would be a really good idea to see more Blacks in high places, see more familiar faces in high places. That way everyone can just push from different angles.
Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned education. Being an educator myself, that's the finger on the money. You have to make sure you not only you educate the public, but making sure that those educational institutions that we get more involved. And as you already know, if you know education arena, you will see that it's more of a Black women participating in education, teachers and all kind of stuff. We need more male,
right?
Because what happened is that our young male need to see those male figure inside the education system. Because if we don't do that, then what happened is that this kid we keep losing them.
Yes.
And escalating something else. They end up in prison or end up doing something or even in
the streets.
Yeah, into the street. So you're absolutely right. Education,
within our community, mindset reset. I mean, there's so much stuff that needs to happen, even within the communities that tend to be a little bit more vulnerable. I guess the ghettos or whatever. Just making sure they have enough funding for good books, stuff like that. I mean, all these things, they make a difference.
Or mentoring. People have to also understand that you don't have to be a teacher to mentor a
Right.
young man
True.
that you see struggling. We have to always reach out those people who would think they a little bit better in terms of their social status. They have to reach out to the less privileged kids to mentor them, to show them example of what's supposed to be.
Right. And that it is possible, that you
Yeah,
can move up, that you don't have
absolutely,
to stay right there. You can work your way up,
absolutely, absolutely.
so
Well, it is very, very interesting to speak with you and to see how much you have to offer. And in our political or even social discourse, uh,
yes.
more of the adults coming on those media to give their point of view. So I was thinking it's about time to see more young people to come and share the view. And when you talk, a lot of other young people can relate to you and
Right.
what you're capable of doing. So therefore, they also can try to do something. So that was the purpose of me inviting you on this podcast, live video, if you will, and to give you the opportunity to actually speak about what you're doing, the video, the messaging, and I think it's a good thing. So now I'm going to let you these couple of minutes probably say something last. If you have a message, a clear message you want to send to everybody, what would be that message?
That no matter, there are going to be low points. We have some trials we're going to see here, with George Floyd and everything. There's going to be some low points that are going to make us doubt. People are going to try to make you feel doubt, but stand firmly, stand your ground, and continue to push, continue to fight peacefully. And we will all, I have faith, we will all get to where we need to be. Because to me, what I've observed, it's really incredible. I mean, it's unfortunate that so many lives have been lost. But it's really incredible to see how much George Floyd shook the world. I mean, everybody, and you're seeing people in France, Germany, everywhere, everybody is standing up to systemic racism and saying that that normal we had back then, yeah,
So good idea.
we can't go
Yeah,
back to that.
absolutely.
And I think, honestly, just to go back to your question earlier as to why us millennials are so involved is because, again, we're tired and we don't want to go back. And we're seeing more people come out. They're seeing how wrong it was. They're seeing how they ignored. I had countless conversations with people of different races about systemic racism. And the thing is, people think that systemic racism is only confined to police brutality, but it extends to healthcare, housing. So, I mean, there's so jobs. So there's so many things we need to change as a unit. And in America, especially, I think everyone was hurt because we're known as a melting pot. Immigrants, everybody comes together here and they contribute to the culture. And the fact that there's a huge portion of people that are being mistreated simply because of the color of their skin, and it was very apparent in that video that we saw. I think people really realized that that was wrong, and I'm glad, and I'm hoping that we can all continue to go down this path, and I think that we will definitely get what we want. We just have to keep
Excellent.
marching forward. We have to stay optimistic, and we can do this. I believe that together we can do this. Not just millennials, everybody, but we have to keep fighting. We have to keep voting, and don't just stop. Don't just vote this year. Continue to vote. Voting
Absolutely.
is important. So
Wow.
that's really all I have to say.
Listen,
Thank you again for bringing me onto this show. I really appreciated the opportunity to bring my perspective. I know that I don't represent everybody, but I have been talking to quite a bit of people my age just because I've been interested. I'm a curious person. So I happen to open up that line of communication on my Instagram, which is Mila the Brave, if you wish to follow. But yeah, so Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, we thank you for your time. I know that you're pretty busy. Very quickly, listen, I asked you for 30 minutes. It's exactly 30 minutes right now. I want to respect your time. If you have some information about your business, what you do that you want to share, because this is although this is an educational platform, we are on the global affairs network portion, politics versus education and business. If you have any information about your business, what you do, this is the best time for you to just speak about it before we close this conversation.
Well, I don't have too much to say, but if that's why I provided my social media account handle, because if anybody is interested in having a real estate agent within the DC and Maryland region, that's where they can reach me, and I'll be more than happy to provide them with information pertaining to that.
Excellent. Well, Miss Palm, Mila, what a pleasure. It is so amazing to discover when we give young people an opportunity just to express themselves. I was just blown away to hear you talking. We never have a chance to have this kind of conversation. So all I can say that I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Proud of
you.
what you're doing, and let's just continue this fight together, like you say. And this have to be the last time where this kind of horrific episode happen in the greatest democracy in the world. So again, thank you so much for the viewers. Thank you so much for you, and we're looking forward to speak with you another time.
Of course. Thank you. Take care.
Absolutely. All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay.
All right.
So I hope I didn't stumble too much.